So I have a hardware storage system that I really like. Basically, it's these DeWalt organizers. They're fairly inexpensive. I've got them underneath the workbench here. However, if I pull one out, it's got to go somewhere. I can open it up and dig through it. The other problem is if I need another one, I've got to put it somewhere else. So whenever I haul these out, they've got to go on valuable workspace, which I don't have a whole lot of to begin with. So I think we need to fix that. We're going to make an easily accessible sliding drawer hardware system. Welcome to Design Build Workshop. Let's get busy. You like building things with your own hands? You've come to the right place. I've got way too many tools and not enough shop space. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to take this stuff, or this setup, and we're going to put it in here. So this is my assembly table, also the table I build on, and the stuff that's underneath it right now, I just don't access that much. Frankly, it doesn't even belong out here. The only thing that's really here that's any good is the vacuum, which is just right there. So I think we're gonna maybe do two sides of this. So this side, and then maybe this other side over here. We'll put the drawer system there, and I want to have it so it's a little bit higher so I can access it without having to bend over so much, and just put them on sliders so that I can pull them out and easily get to stuff. So these boxes, I think, are around, we're going to call that 14.5 inches deep. But because I'm going to mount them underneath here, I want them to slide out. I want to be able to access. I want to be able to do that. So when it's past here, this still has to stand up. So I think we're going to need to get extra long drawer sliders. So if I'm at 14.5, I think if I get 18, that gives me at least 3.5 inches that I can deal with as far as getting beyond the edge of the table. And that way I can access everything that's inside. So the first thing we're going to have to do here, besides take everything out of here, is figure out how we're going to mount that slider to the side of these cases. Right here, these pieces extend beyond the face, essentially, and I'm going to call this the face. So I think we're going to remove these pieces, and they're here so that when the system stacks, they can kind of lock together. But for what we're doing, we're not going to need this. So we're going to go ahead and remove this piece. And then we're also going to mount our sliders from the inside. So we'll drive screws through here to get into our slider. Now, because we're doing that, I don't want the plastic and the screw to be basically holding all of the weight. So we're going to go ahead and make an L bracket out of plywood that'll go along the side here and along the bottom a little bit to give it some support. And that's what the slider is going to screw into. So I think that'll give us enough support, cantilever support, when this is full.
A side grinder with a cutoff wheel will make quick work of this. However, you could use a hacksaw or anything similar to accomplish this step. I went through my plywood scrap and found some 1/2-inch plywood that will do the trick. And as a bonus, it's 17 inches long, so I won't have to cross-cut it down. The table saw is set to 1 3/4 to cut the pieces that will directly screw to the sliders. The bottom of the L bracket can be quite a bit less. Running multiples is always an efficient means of production, and designing an effective system for assembly is always helpful. But be aware, the old adage of measure twice, cut once is crucial here. If your measurement is off, you won't just have one bad part, you'll have many.
So next, we need to measure from here to the bottom or the top of this table so we can get 2x4 measurement that we need. So here we are at 26 inches. Perfect. One little extra tip, whenever you're making anything where there's a lot of measurements involved, use the same tape measure throughout the whole process. That way you're always sure your measurements are going to match up. Got our drawer sliders in. Let's see what these look like. Box in the box. Let's take a look here. Screws. Let's see what that's going to look like. The drawer. All right, so now that I've got my sliders, I can go ahead and mock up on the bottom here the width of what this is all going to end up at. Putting this here. And once I've got that in place, now I'll know how wide it is. I can go ahead and get this set. So this is flush to the table, and then this is flush to the table. And I'm going to put this so it's flush to the end here. And we're going to drive our first screw. All right. Get it seated. There we go. So now we're going to pull the slider apart so that I can get to the last screw I want to put in. All right. Slide it back together. All right. So I've mounted some brackets to support this level and at the right width. So that's where we're going to end up. So initially I was talking about putting 2 drawers on each side and then 2 over on that side. I have a total of 6. But after I did this and started going, it just makes more sense to have 3 on top of each other. They come out nice. This holds up. I can access whatever. I can pull pieces out if I need to. They're all about 5 inches deep. So I've got them mounted pretty closely. Bottom one's a little low. It's better than where it was. But I'm just going to put things in here that I don't access very often, so I don't mind that. So we're going to set the next 3 over on this side. Okay, so I went a little overboard with the black paint, but I normally keep everything very simple and don't go overboard with stuff that I build for the shop. So I feel like this is okay. Okay, so we're going to measure about 5 1/16 below this top edge, and that'll give us clearance. All right, these will be our support pieces. We can rest the drawers on their runners. This right in. Okay, so here it is completed. What I really like about the drawer system being attached to the assembly table is that when I need hardware, it's right here. I'm not having to walk somewhere else in the garage, which isn't all that big, granted, but I don't have to go somewhere else to grab something. And if I do need something from somewhere else, I'm gonna need to haul it over and set it on this table, like I said, which is gonna take up real estate. So for this, these just pull right out. And I open them. They come out far enough so the top will stay up. If I do need to take a bin out, I can just go ahead and take a bin and have it on the table. Put everything away. So really like the way this is going to work. This is probably my 5th iteration of what I'm doing with my hardware. I have to say right now, well, once I live with it, we'll see. But right now, I'm pretty excited about how this is going to work. Thanks again for joining me on another build. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time on Design Build Workshop.